Review exercise number 1. Let's simplify this expression. For number 1, we have a 2x cubed y times 5x squared y to the 5. What we have to do is we're going to multiply constant by constant, x variable by x variable, y variable by y variable, right? So number 1 is equal to, we have constant 2 and 5 times we have x cubed times x squared times y to the 5. So that is equal to 2 times 5, that's 10. This one, x cubed times x squared, 3 plus 2, law of exponent, right? X to the 5 times y to the 1 times y to the 5, 1 plus 5, that's y to the 6. So that's 10x to the power of 5, y to the power of 6. Number 2, we do not have any number here, right? Any coefficients or constants, right? So we have a variable a squared, so that is equal to a times a squared times variable b, so b cubed times b to the power of 4 and c cubed. So if we simplify this, that's a to the 1 plus 2, a to the 3. This one, 3 plus 4, right? 3 plus 4, so b to the 7, c cubed. That's it. Number 3, we have constant 4 and 2, right? So we're going to multiply 4 by 2 first, and variable x squared x. So x squared times x times we have a variable y. So 4 times 2, that's 8. X squared times x, 2 plus 1, right? X to the 2 plus 1, that's x3, and we have y. Number 4, we have a parenthesis here. So we're going to eliminate this parenthesis first. 2 squared times a squared, 2 times 2 is what? A to the 4, right? And we have 5a squared b to the 4. So constant by constant, number by number. So 2 squared, that's 4. And we have a 5. Variable a to the 4. A squared, right? This is a squared. And we have b to the power of 4. So 4 times 5, that's 20. Here, a to the 4, a squared, that's a to the 4 plus 2, a to the 6, and we have b to the power of 4. Number 5, let's eliminate this parenthesis. So that's going to be 4 squared and x to the power of 6. 3 times 2 is 6, right? So x to the 6 times we have a 3x cubed y squared. So that is equal to constant by constant. That's, well, 4 squared is 16, right? 16 times 3. And we have variable x. So x to the 6 times x cubed. And we have y squared. So 16 times 3, that's 48. And x to the 6 times x to the 3, 6 plus 3 is what? X to the 9. And we have y squared. Number 6, let's eliminate this parenthesis. Here we have negative square, right? So that's positive, and 3 squared, x to the 2 times 4, that's 8. X to the 8, and y squared, right? Y squared times 2 cube x to the 2 times 3, x to the 6, and y to the 3 times 3, that's y to the power of 9. So, constant, or the coefficient number, right? So 3 squared, 9, times 2 cubed, that's 8. And we have variable x to the 8 times x to the 6 times y squared, y to the 9. Y squared times y to the 9. So 9 times 8, that's 72. X to the 8, x to the 6, 8 plus 6, that's x to the 14. Y squared, y 9, 2 plus 9, that's 11. Y to the 11. Review exercise number 2. Let's simplify these expressions. For number 1, we have parentheses. So we're going to eliminate this first. So 3 times 2, that's a to the power of 6. B, 1 times 3, that's b cubed, right? Times a b to the 4 times 5 times 3, that's a to the 15, right? So we have a variable a here. So we're going to multiply a to the 6 times a to the 15 times, now we have a b cube of b to the 4. So b cubed times b to the 4. So that is equal to a to the, this is all multiplication, so we're going to have to add them, right? 6 plus 1 plus 15. That's a 7. 7 plus 15, that's 22. And b to the 3 plus 4, that's a 7, right? Number 2, let's eliminate this parenthesis first. So that is equal to, we have 3ab squared times 2 squared. We have 2 squared, and a to the 2 times 4, or 4 times 2, that's a to the power of 8, times 3 squared. 3 squared, a to the 3 times 2, a to the 6, and b squared, right? So, number first. 3 times 2 squared, 4. 3 squared, 9, right? And variable a. So we have a times a to the 8 times a to the 6 times b squared and b squared. B squared times b squared. So 3 times 4, that's 12. 12 times 9, that's going to be 108, right? So 108, 108. A to the 1 plus 8 plus 6, that's 15. And b to the 2 plus 2, that's 4. Okay, number 3. It's getting a little complicated, right? But we can do this step by step. Okay, first step, we're going to have to eliminate parentheses of each monomial, right? So negative 3 times, that's a negative. 2 cube, right? 2 cube. We have a squared to the power of 3, that's a to the 2 times 3, 6. B cube times, negative is multiplied 4 times, that's positive, right? So positive a 4b to the 2 times 4, 8. A 4b to the 8, right? Here we have a 4 times a to the power of 4, b 6, 3 times 2, and c squared, right? C squared. And down here, denominator 2 squared. 2 square. So here, number, we have negative 2 cube and 1 over 2 square, which is 1 over 4, right? So let me put negative here. We have 2 cube. Well, let me write 2 cube as 8. 2 cube is 8 times 1 over 4, right? Times variable a to the 6, a to the 4, a to the 4. So that's a to the 6, a to the 4, a to the 4, right? And times b cube, we have a b cube, b to the 8 times b to the 6, b to the 6, times, lastly, we have variable c squared here, right? So times, let me write right over here, times c squared. So 4 times 1, 4 times 2. So that's just a negative 2. Negative 2. A, 6 plus 4, 10. 10 plus 4, 14. B, 3 times 8, 11. 11 plus 6. 3 plus 8, 11. 11 plus 6, that's a 17. And we have c squared. That's it. Okay, number 4. Let's eliminate all of these parentheses. So number 4 is equal to 2 times 2. That's a to the 4 c squared. Times negative is multiplied 3 times. Then that's negative. And let me use a parenthesis. 3 times 3, that's 9, right? So b to the 9. 3 times 2, that's c to the 6. And we have a 4 cube, right? 4 cube. And times, negative is multiplied an even number of times, then that's positive. So 4 square, and a square, and b to the 4, right? So that is equal to, okay, number first. We have a negative 1 over 4 cube times 4 square. So let's write negative out here. And we have a 1 over 4 cube times 4 square, right? And we have a variable a to the 4, a square. So a to the 4 times a square. And variable b times, right here, let me use red, b to the 9. And we have a b to the 4. So b to the 9 times b to the 4. And c, we have c squared, c to the 6. So that's going to be c squared times c to the power of 6. So that's going to be, 4 square we have here, 4 cube here. So one of the 4 in denominator will be left, right? So that's going to be negative 1 over 4. And we have a 4 times a squared. That's going to be a to the 6. And b, 9 plus 4. That's b to the 13. And c, 2 plus 6. That's c 8. Okay, we can leave our answer like this. Or if we rewrite it, we can write a 6, b 13, c 8 over 4. Review exercise number 3. This time we have division, right? So let's try this. First thing we have to do, we have to eliminate this parenthesis. So that's going to be b to the 5 divided by a squared and b 3 times 2, 6. A squared b to the 6. That is equal to b5, and let's change this division to multiplication. Then that has to be 1 over a squared b6, right? So that is equal to, we only have 1 over a squared, variable a, and we have b5 times 1 over b to the 6. That's b5 minus 6, which is b to the negative 1. So that is equal to 1 over b, right? That's 1 over b. So equal to 1 over a squared times 1 over b. That's just 1 over a squared b. Number 2. Okay, we have a division here again. So 2x cubed y squared, we're going to change that to multiplication. That's going to be 1 over 8x5y, right? Okay, so that is equal to number 2, 1 over 8. So 2 times 1 over 8 first, and variable x cubed, x to the 5. So times x cubed 1 over x to the power of a 5 times y squared 1 over y, y squared times 1 over y. So 2 times 1, 2 times 4. So that's just 1 over 4 times, here, x3, x5. That is equal to actually x3 minus 5, x to the negative 2. So 1 over x squared, right? So that's 1 over x squared times this one right here is just y2. Here's 1, right? Minus 1. That's just y. So times y is equal to, so numerator we have only y, denominator 4 times x squared. Number 3, let's eliminate those parentheses first. So that is equal to negative 3 times. That's a negative, right? So we have 2 cubed and x to the 2 times the 3, that's x to the 6, and y to the 9, 3 times 3, divided by 4 squared, that's a 16, x to the 3 times 2, that's 6, 4 times 2, that's y to the 8. So that is equal to, next step, we're gonna have to convert this division to multiplication, right? So negative 2 cubed is 8, right? So x to the 6, y to the 9, times, that's going to be 1 over 16, x to the 6, y to the 8. So, number first, negative 8. Let me write negative right here. 8 times 1 over 16. And we have x to the 6 and 1 over x to the 6. This is 1 over x to the 6, right? Times y to the 9, 1 over y to the 8, right? So that's 8 times 1, 8 times 2. That's negative 1 over 2. And x to the 6, well, this is a x to the 6 minus a 6, right? So x to the 0, that's 1, right? So all 6 x's from numerator and denominator will be cancelled out, right? So that's just equal to 1 times 1 times this one, y to the 9 minus 8, right? 9, 8. So that's going to be y to the power of 1. Just y. So times y. So that is equal to negative 1 times y, that's y over 2. Number 4. Okay. Let's eliminate parentheses. 2 times 2, that's x to the 4. 4 times 2, that's y to the 8. Divided by 5 squared. 5 squared. 2 times 3, 6, x to the 6. And y squared. Right? So, now next step, we're gonna change the division to multiplication, and this becomes 1 over 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, right? And x to the 6, y squared. So here we only have 1 over 25. So that is equal to 1 over 25 times, variable x, x to the 4, 1 over x to the 6. So x to the 4, 1 over x to the 6, times we have y 8, 1 over y squared. So y to the power of 8 times 1 over y squared. So that is equal to, here, this part right here, that's x to the 4 minus 6, right? So x to the negative 2, that's 1 over x squared. Or you can just say 4x's from numerator, 4 of them from denominator. So this one becomes 2, right? So that's just 1 over x squared. Okay, so 1 over 25 times 1 over x squared. And this part right here is just y 8 minus 2, which is equal to y to the 6. Or you can say 2y's from denominator and 2 from numerator. So eliminate 2, that becomes a 6. So that's times y to the 6. So that's going to be numerator, we only have a y to the 6. Denominator, we have 25 times x squared. That's a 25x squared. Review exercise number 4. Let's simplify these expressions. For number 1, what we have to do first is we're going to have to eliminate these parentheses, right? So let's do that. Negative is multiplied 3 times. That's negative. So we have 4 cubed, and x to the 9, and y cubed, right? Y cubed. Divided by, here, negative is multiplied 2 times. Even number of times, that's positive. So 2 squared, x squared, y to the 4. X squared, y to the 4. Right? So that's going to be negative 4 cubed. Well, 4 cubed is just 64, right? 4 times 4 times 4. That's x to the 9, y cubed, times, division, convert division to multiplication. Then that's going to be 1 over 2 squared, 4. X squared, y to the 4. So we're going to multiply numbers first. Negative 64 times 1 over 4. So negative 64 times 1 over 4. We have x9, x squared, 1 over x squared. So x9, 1 over x squared. And we have y cubed times 1 over y to the 4. Right? So that is equal to, remember, 64 is a 4 cubed, right? This was a 4 cubed. So cancel one of them. So we have a negative 16. 4 squared is 16. Negative 16 times, here we have x to the 9 divided by x squared. That's 9 minus 2. So x is 7. X is 7 here. Here we have y3 over y4. y3 minus 4, which is equal to y minus 1. That's 1 over y. So that's going to be Numerator, we have a negative 16 times x to the 7, denominator over y. Number 2. Okay, first, let's eliminate these parentheses. Okay, so that is equal to 4 cube a to the 6, a6, b cube, c to the 3 times 5, c to the 15, divided by 8 squared. Okay, 8 squared, b to the 6, right? b to the 6, and c to the 2 times 2, 4. So far, so good. So that is equal to, okay, we have a 4 cube, that's a 64. 8 squared, that's a 64, right? So, here first, we're gonna convert this division to multiplication, okay? So 64, a6, b3, c to the 15 times, that's 1 over 64, b to the 6, c to the 4, right? So number 64, 1 over 64, well, 64 times 1 over 64, that's 1, right? So this is just 1. And we have a to the 6. Well, that's only variable a, right? Here we only have a to the 6. That's it. So a to the 6. B, we have b cubed, 1 over b to the 6. So b cubed times 1 over b to the 6. And c, we have a c to the power of 15 times 1 over c to the power of 4. So that is equal to 1 times, well, we don't have to write 1, and we have a to the 6, and this part right here, that's b to the 3 minus 6, which is a b to the negative 3, so we can say that's a b 1 over b cubed. So we have 1 over b cubed times this part right here, that's a c to the 15 minus 4, right? So that's a c to the power of 11. So c to the 11. So that is equal to, numerator, we have a6, c11, a6, c11, and denominator, we have a b3. Okay, number 3. Let's remove these parentheses. So, number 3 is equal to a squared b to the power of 4. So a squared b to the power of 4. And we can just leave this expression because we don't have any power here, right? The exponent is just 1. So leave this one alone. Negative 3b over 2a cubed. And divided by, here, negative is multiplied twice. That's positive, right? And 2 times 2, that's a to the 4. 3 squared, right? 3 squared, and b, 2 times 2, b to the 4, right? So let's convert those divisions to multiplications. So a squared, b to the 4 multiply by, we have negative. Let me put negative right here, okay? So we're going to switch this numerator and denominator, and that's going to be 2a cubed numerator, 3b in denominator, times, switch these two again. So that's going to be 3 squared, 9, b to the 4, a to the 4, right? So we have number 2 over 3 times 9, right? So 2 over 3 times 9, and variable a squared. Well, we have negative here, right? This negative. And we have a squared, a cube, n times 1 over a to the 4, right? Times, let's look at b. b to the 4, 1 over b to the 4. So b to the 4, 1 over b times b to the 4. So 3 times 1, 3 times 3. So 2 times 3, 6. So that's a negative 6. Let's look at a. 2 plus 3, 5 minus 4, that's 1, right? A to the 1. So we don't have to write it. Just negative 6a times b. 4 minus 1 plus 4. 4 minus 1 plus 4, that's 7, right? So b to the 7. That's it. Number 4. Let's eliminate these parentheses. So number 4 is equal to 4 cube a cube b to the power of 6 divided by 8 squared, right? 8 squared, a to the 4 and b to the power of 6, 3 times 2. Divided by, we have 24 ab to the 4. So let's convert those division to multiplications. So let me just write 4 cubed 64. Okay, that's a 64. A squared also 64, and we have 24 here, right? So that's gonna be 64a cubed b to the 6 times 1 over, we have a 64a 4b6 times 1 over, again, 24ab to the 4. So numbers, 64, 1 over 64, 1 over 24, right? So that is equal to 64 times 1 over 64 times 1 over 24. And we have variable a cubed, 1 over a to the 4, 1 over a. So a cubed times 1 over a to the 4 times 1 over a times, lastly, b to the 6 over times 1 over b to the 6 times 1 over b to the 4. So that's going to be b to the 6 times 1 over b to the 6 times b to the 4. So here, 64 times 1, 64 times 1. So that's just 1 over 24, right? All of this expression, all of these numbers will be 1 over 24 times here, this part right here, that's a 3 minus, it's a division, right? Minus 4 minus 1. So that's going to be a to the 3 minus 4, negative 1, that's negative 2. So 1 over a squared, right? So this is just times 1 over a squared times here, this part right here, that's going to be b to the 6 minus 6 plus 4, right? So that's 6 minus 6 is 0. 0 plus 4, that's 4. So times b to the 4. So that is equal to denominator, the numerator is not equal to 1. Numerator is b to the 4 we have right here. And denominator 24 times a squared, that's 24a squared. Oh, well, I made a mistake again. I'm sorry. Here we have 1 over b to the 4, right? So this should be 1 over b to the 4. So let's fix that. Not b to the 4 instead. That's 1 over b to the 4. So let me erase all of this. So that's going to be b to the 6 minus 6 minus 4, right? So that's going to be b to the negative 4, which is equal to 1 over b to the 4. So this is not b to the 4. Let me erase all of this. And that's actually 1 over b to the 4. So our final answer will be 1 over 24 times a squared times b to the power over 4. All right, number 5 says simplify the expression. We have numbers with a base 2, base 5, base 5, base 2, right? So let's simplify this. We're going to eliminate these parentheses first. So that is equal to 2 to the 4 times 5 cubed divided by 3 times 2, that's 5 to the 6. 4 times 3, that's 2 to the 12, right? And we can actually simplify these two numbers because they have same base 2. And these two numbers, which they have same base 5, right? So that is equal to, well, let me rewrite this. 2 to the 4 divided by 2 to the 12. And we have times 5 cubed divided by 5 to the 6. So same base, division, we subtract 12 from 4, right? So that's 2 to the 4 minus 12 times same base, division. So 5 to the 3 minus 6. So that's 2 to the 4 minus 12, that's negative 8, times 5 to the 3 minus 6, that's negative 3. If we have negative in exponents, then that becomes 1 over 2 to the 8 times 1 over 5 cubed, right? So that is equal to, we could just write that's 1 over 2 to the 8 times 5 cubed. Okay, number 2, we have a parenthesis here. So we're going to remove this parenthesis. And also, when we look at bases, this is a 3, which is a prime number, right? But 15 and 9, they are not prime numbers. So we're going to have to rewrite this number as a product of prime numbers. Well, 15 is equal to 3 times 5, right? And 9 is equal to 3 times 3, which is equal to 3 squared. So let's simplify this. So number 2 is equal to 2 times 2, that's 3 to the power of 4, times 15 is 3 times 5. So we're going to use a parenthesis. 3 times 5 to the power of 4 divided by, again, 15. 3 times 5 to the power of 5. 9, that's 3 squared, and we have a square, right? So 3 to the 4 times, distribute this. 4 times 1, 4 times 1, so 3 to the 4 times, this is a multiplication, okay? 5 to the 4 divided by all of this thing. Well, let me actually convert this division to multiplication, okay? So times 1 over 5 times 1, 3 to the power of 5. 5 times 1, 5 to the power of 5. Here, this is a multiplication, okay? So times 2 times 2, that's 3 to the 4, right? So we have base 3, base 3, base 3, base 3. So let's simplify these numbers first. So we have a 3 to the 4 times 3 to the 4 times 1 over 3 to the 5 times 3 to the 4. And we have a base 5, base 5. So that's going to be times 5 to the 4 times 1 over 5 to the 5. right? So this is going to be 3 to the 4 plus 4 minus 5 plus 4 times 5, 4 minus 5. So that is equal to, here 4 plus 4, 8, minus 5, 3, plus 4, that's 7, right? So this is 3 to the power of 7 times this one, 4 minus 5, 5 to the negative 1. If we have a negative, that goes to denominator, right? 5 to the 1, which is 5, denominator. And we have 3 to the 7. And now we're done. Number 3. Just like number 2, these two number is not a prime number. So we're going to have to rewrite these two number as a product of a prime numbers. So 14 is equal to 2 times 7, and 49 is equal to 7 times 7, which is equal to 7 square, right? So let's rewrite these numbers. So 2 times 7 to the power of 3 divided by 7 squared to the power of 2 divided by 2 times 4, that's 2 to the 8. 2 times 2, that's 7 to the power of 4. So 2 times 2 cube, right? So 2 cube times 7 cube. 7 cube divided by 7 to the power of 4 divided by 2 to the 8, 7 to the 4. So we have 2 numbers with the base 2, 3 numbers with the base 7, right? Okay. This time, we're not going to convert this division to multiplications, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do here, rewrite 2 cube divided by 2 to the 8, collect numbers with the base 2 and collect numbers with the base 7. So times 7 cube, 7, 4, 7, 4, right? So that's going to be, if it's a division, remember, we subtract exponent, 3 minus 8. 7 to the 3 divided by 7 to the 4, so minus 4 times 7 to the 4, that's plus 4, right? So that is equal to 2 to the negative 5 times 7 to the 3, right? So if we have a negative exponent, rewrite that, 2 to the 5 goes to denominator. So 2 to the 5 and 7 to the power of 3 goes numerator. Number 4, let's simplify this. So number 4 is equal to 2a squared b times 6ab to the 4. I'm going to convert this division to multiplications. So times 1 over 8a cubed b to the 7. So that is equal to numbers first. So that's going to be 2 times 6 times 1 over 8 times, now a's, a squared a and 1 over a cubed. So a squared times a times 1 over a cubed times, we have b to the 4, 1 over b to the 7. So that's going to be b times b to the 4 times 1 over b to the 7, right? So let's simplify the numbers. 2 times 1, 2 times 4. So 2 times 2, again 2 times 3. So that's going to be 3 times 1 over 2, 3 over 2, times, we have a, this one, a squared plus 1, right? Plus 1 minus 3. So that's going to be a3 minus 3, a to the 0. So that's 1, right? So let me just erase this, and that's 1 times here, b, this part right here, b 1 plus 4 divided by b to the 7 minus 7, right? So that's going to be b to the 5 minus 7 minus 2. So that's 1 over b squared. So we have 1 over b squared. So let's simplify this. 3 over 2 times 1 times 1 over b squared. That's 3 in numerator and 2b squared in our denominator, right? Okay, number 5. We have 3x squared y cubed times 2x squared y. This is division, so I'm going to convert that to multiplication. 1 over 9xy 5, right? So that is equal to numbers first. So 3 times 2 times 1 over 9, and times we have x squared, and 1 over x, times we have y cubed y, 1 over y to the 5. So y cubed y times 1 over y fifth, right? So that is equal to 3 times 1, 3 times 3. So 2 times 1 over 3, that's 2 over 3. And here we have x 2 plus 2, 1 over x, that's minus 1, right? So that's x3. So times x3. And this part right here, that's y3 plus 1 minus 5 here, right? So that's going to be y to the 4 minus 5, that's negative 1. That's 1 over y. So times 1 over y gives us denominator 3 times y, 3y, numerator 2 times x cubed. Finally, number 6. Let's eliminate those parentheses first. So negative 2 times positive, right? Negative times negative gives us positive 5 squared. So that's going to be 25 x to the 6 divided by, we have a 5y squared over 4x to the 5 times 2 squared, 4 x to the 4, y to the 2 times 3, 6. So 25 x to the 6. I'm going to convert this to multiplication, and 4x to the 5, 5y squared, right? Switch these two, and we have 4x to the 4, y 6. So let's simplify this. Numbers first. We have 25, 4 over 5, and 4. So 25, 4 over 5, 4. Variable x, x to the 6, x to the 5, x to the 4. So times x to the 6, x to the 5, x to the 4, times y, we have 1 over y squared, y to the 6. So 1 over y squared times y to the 6. So that is equal to 5 times 1, 5 times 5. So 5 times 4, that's a 20, right? 5 times 4 times 4. This is 20. So 20 times 4 gives us 80, right? So that's 80 times, 6 6 plus 5 plus 4, that's a 15, right? X to the 15. For this part right here, this is actually what? 1 over x times x to the 6. That's x to the 6 divided by y, I'm sorry. 1 over y squared, 1 over y squared times y to the 6. That's actually equal to y to the 6 divided by y squared, right? So we can rewrite this y to the negative 2 plus 6, or y to the 6 first, 6 minus 2. It's the same thing, right? Y to the 4. So either way is fine. So this is y to the 4. So our final answer is 80 x to the 15, y to the 4. Number 6. We're going to simplify these expressions. Well, this is quite complicated expression, right? But step by step, we can do this. The first step we have to do is we're going to have to remove all of these parentheses, right? So let's try that. So number 1 is equal to 2 cubed, right? So that's going to be, let me just write 2 cubed. Okay, that's going to be 8. And x, 2 times 3, x to the 6. Y to the 4 times 3, y to the 12. Divided by 4 squared. And x squared. And y to the 4. Times 5 squared. X to the power of 8. 4 times 2, right? And 2 times 3, y to the 6. So, next step, I'm going to convert this division to multiplication. So, we have 8, x to the 6, y to the 12, multiply by 1 over 4 squared, that's a 16, x squared, y to the 4, times 5 squared, that's 25. X to the 8, y to the 6. So, numbers, number. So, we have 8 times 1 over 16 times 25, right? X variable, we have x to the 6, x squared, x to the 8. So, times x to the 6, 1 over x squared times x to the power of 8 times y variable, y to the 12, y to the 4, y to the 6. So y to the 12 times 1 over y to the 4 times y to the power of 6. So let's simplify number first. 8 times 1, 8 times 2. So 1/2 times 25, that's just 25 over 2, right? So 25 over 2 times, here we have x to the 6 minus 2 plus 8. So that's going to be 6 minus 2, 4. 4 plus 8, that's a 12, right? So times x to the 12 times this part right here, that's going to be y to the 12 minus 4 plus 6. So that's going to be y to the 12 minus 4, 8. 8 plus 6, that's 14, right? So we have y to the 14. So that is equal to, denominator we only have 2, numerator we have 25, x to the 12, and y to the power of 14. Okay, number 2. So let's eliminate parentheses first. So we have a 4abc divided by a squared b to the 2 times 2, b to the 4, right? A squared b to the 4 divided by 6a to the 4 bc squared times 2 cube. 2 cube. 3 times 3, that's a to the power of 9. B cube, C cube. B3, C3. Right? So, we're gonna convert this division to multiplication. So we have a 4ABC times 1 over a squared b to the 4 times 1 over 6a to the 4 bc squared times 2 cube. 2 cube is 8, right? 2 to the power of 3. I'm just going to write that's 8. A to the 9, B 3, C 3. Right? So, numbers first. We have a 4, 1 over 6, and 8. So, equal to 4 times 1 over 6 times 8. Now, variable a. We have a, 1 over a squared, 1 over a to the 4, a to the 9. So, we have here a times 1 over a squared times 1 over a to the 4 times a to the 9 times, let's look at b. We have a b, 1 over b to the 4, 1 over b, b 3. So, let's write b times 1 over b to the 4 times 1 over b times b cubed. Okay. Lastly, c. Finally, c, right? C, we have c, 1 over c squared, c to the power of 3. So that's going to be times c, 1 over c squared times c cubed. Right? So, let's simplify this number right here. 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 3. So 2 times 8, that's 16. 16 divided by 3, that's 16 over 3. So 16 over 3. Here, let's look at this part right here. This part right here, that's going to be a 1 minus 2 minus 4 times a to the 9, that's plus 9. So that's going to be, what is it? 1 minus the negative 1, negative 5, that's a to the 4, right? So we have a to the 4. Now let's look at this part right here. That's going to be b, 1 minus 4 minus 1, right? And plus 3. So that's going to be 1 minus 1, 0. Isn't it b to the negative 1? So that's 1 over b, right? So times 1 over b, times 1 over b, and times this part right here. We have c 1 minus 2 plus 3. So that's going to be negative 1, positive 2, c squared, right? So we have a c squared. So if we rewrite this expression, denominator we have a 3 times b, 3b. Numerator we have a 16 a to the power of 4 c squared. Number 3. In this expression, we don't have any parentheses. So our first step should be to convert this division to multiplication, right? So let's try that. So we have 3xy cubed times 4x cubed y squared times 1 over 8x cubed y 5 times 1 over 6x to the 5. Right? So, numbers. We have a 3, 4, 1 over 8, 1 over 6. So, we're going to write numbers first. 3 times 4 times 1 over 8 times 1 over 6 times variable x. We have x, x3, 1 over x3, x5, right? So that's going to be x times x cubed times 1 over x cubed times 1 over x to the power of 5 times, look at y, y3, y2, 1 over y5, right? So that's going to be y cubed times y squared times 1 over y to the power of 5. Okay, we're almost done. So let's look at numbers. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 4 times 1, 4 times 2. So that's 1/2 times 1/2, which is equal to 1 over 4 times x. Okay, x terms right here. So that's going to be x power 1 plus 3 minus 3 minus 5. So that's going to be x to the negative 4. Then that is equal to 1 over x to the 4, right? So times 1 over x to the 4 times y. If you look at this, that's going to be y 3 plus 2 and minus 5. That's y to the 0, which is equal to 1, right? So times 1. So finally, this expression simplifies to denominator 4 times x to the 4. 4x4, numerator is 1, right? So it's just 1 over 4x to the power of 4. Okay, finally, number 4. We're going to eliminate these parentheses first. Okay, so number 4 is equal to 12ab squared divided by, that's going to be 2 cubed b to the 9 a to the 2 times 3 6 times, we have 4a 3b 5, right? And divided by, we have a 6 squared b to the 2 times 5, that's 10, right? So next step, convert this division to multiplications. So 12ab squared times 1 over 2 cubed b 9a6 times 4a3 b5 times 1 over 6 squared 36. Let me just write 36 b to the 10. Here 2 cubed is 8, right? So I'm just gonna write 8 here. So far so good? Okay, so let's look at numbers. 12, 1 over 8, 4, 1 over 36. So numbers first. 12 times 1 over 8 times 4 times 1 over 36 times variable a. We have a, 1 over a to the power of 6, a cubed, right? So that's going to be a times 1 over a 6 times a 3, right? Let's look at b. b, we have a b squared, b to the 9, b to the 5, b to the 10. Well, it's actually 1 over b to the 10. So b squared, 1 over b to the 9 times b5 times 1 over b to the power of 10. So simplify these numbers. 4 times 1, 4 times 2. Again, 2 times 1, 2 times 6. Again, 6 times 1, 6 times 6. So it's just we only have 1 over 6, right? That's it, right? So 1 over 6 times, so this part right here, that simplifies to a 1 minus 6 plus 3. So that's a to the negative 2, right? So that's 1 over a squared. So times 1 over a squared. This part right here, that's b 2 minus 9 plus 5 minus 10. So that's going to be, well, that's negative 19 plus 7. It is negative 12, right? So that's going to be 1 over b to the power of 12. So times 1 over b to the power of 12. So finally, that's going to be 1 over 6a squared b to the power of 12. Review exercise number 7. It says, write the correct expression in this empty box. So I'm going to write this empty box is equal to a. Okay. We have a parenthesis here and here, right? So we're going to eliminate these two parentheses first. So let's do that. Here, negative is multiplied 4 times. Then that's positive, right? So that's going to be positive 2 to the 4 x to this, 2 times 4, x to the 8 and y to the 4, right? So that's going to be 2 to the 4 x to the 2 times 4, 8, y to the 4. And we have times a divided by 4 cube, right? 4 cube, 3 times 3, that's 9, x to the 9. And 2 times 3, that's y to the 6. So that is equal to 8x to the 5, y to the 4. Right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this division to multiplication. So, let's write 2 to the 4, that's a 16, right? Oops. That's a 16. I'm sorry, I need a black. So 16 x to the 8, y to the 4 times a times 1 over 4 cubed, that's a 64, x to the 9, y to the 6. So that is equal to 8x to the 5, y to the 4. Right? So we're going to simplify these two terms right here. Okay? So we have a, so let me write a right over here, a times numbers first. 16. We have 16 times 1 over 64 times we have x to the 8, x to the 1 over x to the 9, right? Times y, we have y to the 4 times 1 over y to the 6. And all of this expression is equal to 8x to the 5, y to the 4. Right? So, 4 times 4. 4 times 16 is 64. Again, 4 times 1, 4 times 4. So that's just 1 over 4, right? So we have a times 1 over 4. And if we simplify this, a minus 9, it's 1 over x, right? So times 1 over x. Times, if we simplify this, that's going to be 1 over y squared, right? 1 over y squared. So that is equal to 8x to the 5, y to the 4, right? So in order to find the expression a, we're going to have to eliminate. We're going to have to remove all of this term right here. So I'm going to multiply. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply all of this expression by 4xy squared. Well, 4xy squared on the right hand side and also left hand side, I'm going to multiply by 4xy squared. Does it make sense? Okay, so this one, 4, 4x, x, y squared, y squared. They all eliminate. So a is equal to 4 times 8, that's 32, right? X to the 5 times x, that's x to the power of 6. Y to the 4, y squared, that's going to be y to the 4 plus 2, y to the 6. So the expression a is equal to 32, x to the 6, y to the 6. Okay, number 2. Again, I'm going to let this empty box be a. Okay, let's eliminate these parentheses first. So we have a divided by 2a over b to the 2 times 4, that's 8, right? Times 2 times the 3 here, so that's going to be a to the 6, 6b cubed, and that is equal to a to the 4 over 18b to the 5. So we have division here, right? So we're going to convert this to multiplication. So a times, numerator goes denominator, denominator goes to numerator. B to the 8 over 2a times a to the 6 over 6b cubed is equal to a to the 4, 18b to the 5. So let's simplify the expression from here to here. Okay, so we have 2 and 6. That's just the 2 times 6, 12, right? So we have a here. So denominator 2 times 6, that's a 12, right? If you look at variable a, we have a to the power of 1, a to the power of 6. So that's going to be a to the power of 5, right? A 5, right? And look at variable b to the 8, b to the 3. So 8 minus 3, that's b to the 5. So b to the 5. So that is equal to a 4 over 18 b to the 5, right? So I'm going to have to eliminate this term right here, right? So we're going to multiply each side by reciprocal of this expression. So 12 over 8, 5b5. Also, I'm going to have to multiply here by 12 over, same expression, a5, b5, right? Then, 12, it cancels out, 8, 5, b5 cancels out. So what I have here is, I have the expression a is equal to, well, the product of these two. Here, let me rewrite this expression right over here, okay? Because we don't have much space down there. b5 times 12 over a5 b5. So, numbers first. Okay, 6 times 2. 6 times 3. So we have 2 over 3. Variable a4 here, a5 here. So 4 minus 5, a to the negative 1, that's 1 over a, right? So 4, 5 goes away, we only have 1 over a. B doesn't cancel out. It's just the b to the 5 times b to the 5. So the expression a is equal to, we have number 3 and variable a, b to the 5 times b to the 5, that's b to the power of 10. And the numerator, we only have 2. So the expression a is 2 over 3a b to the power of 10. Review exercise number 8. If x is equal to y is equal to 4, what is the value of this expression right here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this expression first and then substitute 2 for x and 4 for y. So let's simplify this. That is equal to x squared y cubed times x squared y division. So that's times 1 over xy to the power of 5. So we have x squared 1 over x, right? So that is equal to x squared times 1 over x times we have y cubed y 1 over y to the 5. So y cubed times y times 1 over y to the 5, right? So that is equal to this one right here is let me write right here with the blue. Oops. So that's gonna be x to the 2 plus 2 minus 1, right? So that's x3. This expression right here is y3 minus 1. I'm sorry, plus 1, right? It's multiplication. So plus 1 division minus 5. So that's going to be y to the negative 1, which is equal to 1 over y. So that is equal to x cubed times 1 over y times 1 over y. That's just x3 over y, right? Now we're going to substitute this number for x and y. So that is equal to 2 cubed over 4. That's 8. So 8 over 4 is equal to 2. This is our answer. If a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to 4, what is the value of this complicated expression? Just like number 8, we're going to simplify this expression first and substitute these numbers for a, b, c. Okay, so let's try that. So this expression is equal to, we have a, b, c divided by a squared b to the 4, right? A squared b to the power of 4 divided by a to the power of 4 bc squared times 3 times 3, that's a to the 9 b cubed c cubed b3 c3, right? Now convert this division to multiplication. So a b c times 1 over a squared b to the 4 times 1 over a 4bc2 times a 9b3c3. So far so good? Okay, let's simplify this. We have a 1 over a squared, 1 over a to the 4, a 9, right? So let me write right here, a 1 minus 2 minus 4 plus 9, right? That's going to be negative 6, negative 5, positive 4, plus 4, right? a to the 4. So we have a to the 4 times, let's look at b. b, 1 over b to the 4, 1 over b, b3. So b, 1 minus 4 minus 1 plus 3. So that's going to be b to the negative 1, that's 1 over b. So times 1 over b. Finally, c, we have a c, 1 over c squared, c cubed, right? So for c, 1 divided by c squared minus 2 times c cubed plus 3. So that's going to be c to the power of, isn't it 2? 2, right? C squared. So times c squared. So we're going to substitute this number right here. 1 for A, 2 for B, 4 for C. So that is equal to A 1 to the 4 times 1 over 2 times 4 squared. So that is equal to 1 times 1 over 2 times 4 squared is 16. So the answer is 8.